We welcome you in on this gorgeous night here in Conway, South Carolina to bring you Coastal Carolina football as the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers will take on the East Carolina Pirates. And as I said, we welcome you here into Brooks Stadium. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous night here. The crowd is heavy. The sky is pretty. We got some Coastal football on tap.
Yes, we do. Coastal Carolina facing their slowly becoming rival, East Carolina Pirates. As much as it's slowly becoming an out-of-sport rivalry, slowly trickling over here into football.
I agree. Coastal, the winners in the Conway Regional against Eastern Carolina. However, before then, it has been years since Coastal Carolina faced ECU on the gridiron, all the way back to 2022, my freshman year of college.
I remember that game well.
Coastal Carolina facing East Carolina in the Birmingham Bowl. And Coastal Carolina football looked a lot different back then. Jamie Chadwell was on his way out the door. Grayson McCall was about to win his fourth consecutive Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year. And the team looked to be heading in the right direction.
Yeah, as you said, the team looked a lot different. We still had Grayson McCall. A lot of familiar faces were on that team. You had Grayson McCall, Sam Pinkney, Jared Brown,
Lance Boykin, DeJoran Strong.
Now this team looks a lot different today with now head coach Tim Beck taking the reins.
Head coach Tim Beck and a new guy under center for the Chanticleers. It was announced during the pregame that Tad Hudson will be taking over for MJ Morris.
And you know, this is a move that needed to be made. MJ hasn't really been providing that spark that this offense needed. He went out earlier in the third quarter of last game. Seemingly came back, wasn't the same, so decided to make that switch. Coastal obviously scored not too long after that, and they just stuck with Tad Hudson the rest of the way.
This will be Tad Hudson's second career start, his first career regular season start, his first ever start coming against the UTSA Roadrunners in the Myrtle Beach Bowl back in December.
Yeah, and that was a game that was already lost when they had thrown Hudson into the game. You know, it was a kind of a lost cause at that point. UTSA already up.
That was a game where Tad Hudson had started, and he looked like he wanted to settle in. He overthrew Braden Bennett on that first play, and it was a long night after that. We'll see what the young quarterback has in store. As for the other side of the ball, Eastern Carolina is coming in off a massacre of 56-3. Both teams are 1-1 on the year, and the tale of the tape is that ECU held their own against NC State 2 weeks ago to open the season. Coastal Carolina wasn't really competitive against UVA. Both equally as strong Power 5 opponents.
Yeah, you take a look at the games Coastal's played so far, and take a look at the games that ECU's played so far. Both playing similar programs. Coastal opening up their season against Virginia in Lynchburg. Unfortunately, getting clobbered in that game. And ECU holding their own against NC State week one, only losing by 7 points. Almost a shocker week one for ECU, and then obviously last week ECU going against Campbell, clobbered them, and now they're coming to Coastal Carolina riding that game against Campbell.
ECU comes into Conway averaging 373 yards per game in the air with 8.4 yards per catch. Despite these huge passing yard numbers, they only have 4 receiving touchdowns on the year. Coastal secondary to shut down the senior quarterback, Caton Hauser, who had a monster game last week against Campbell, going 25 for 35, 314 yards and 2 passing touchdowns.
That's going to be no easy task for the Coastal secondary. Like you mentioned, how he's coming in off that Campbell game. That quarterback's going to be hot. He's going to be confident. He's coming in there. He's going to think that he can just take the top off this Coastal secondary at will. And honestly, Coastal secondary has not been that sharp to start the season. Only 1 interception and allowing about 168 pass yards a game.
We're going to see if Tad Hudson can provide a spark for this Coastal offense, struggling against FCS opponent Charleston Southern. Winners last time out, but only by a score of 13-0. Javen Simpkins had a solid game. We're going to see how that affects Coastal game plan.
And yeah, that game against Charleston Southern last week, bit of a sloppy game for Coastal. Not what you want to see out of a program, a D1 program against an old FCS rival and Charleston Southern back in the Big South days. Let's hope Coastal can right the ship here against a very tough ECU opponent.
We have Coastal versus ECU on deck here on WCCU SN, Coastal Carolina University student-run sports network. We'll be right back. Welcome back to this presentation of Coastal Carolina versus ECU on WCCU-SN, Coastal Carolina University Student Run Sports Network. Coastal has won the toss and elects to defer to the second half. ECU will be returning. We're going to first look at the ECU offense. And as I mentioned, quarterback Caden Hauser and his top target last week, Brock Spalding, hauled in 3 catches last week for a long one of 55 yards. For a total of 81 yards on the day.
Definitely feels like a tone setter here for the Chanticleers. If you can hold into a 3 and out, it definitely gets some great momentum going right off the bat.
The CCU,
really get into it.
The CCU kick team looks ready to go. And we are underway here in Conway, South Carolina, as the ball will go out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. ECU will start at the 25. So we're going to get a look and see how this Coastal Carolina defense favors against this ECU offense early on here. This is a game that everyone is expecting to be a high-scoring one, but not really in favor of the Chants.
Yeah, leading up to the game, you get that sense that with how close ECU kept it with NC State and how Coastal's been struggling against Virginia and struggling against Charlotte Southern, they get a sense that they might struggle here against ECU.
Takes a snap, rolls out, throws it to his receiver, caught at the 35, breaks the tackle, gets out to the 40-yard line. That'll be number 1. That'll be number 1 for ECU. Stopped by Miles Muyung, and we get some whistles down.
Already Hauser with that passing attack.
Hauser already 1 for 1 for 11 yards.
Testing this Coastal secondary.
Coastal Carolina getting it tested early. A little bit rough against the screen pass. We got a stoppage in play here. Referee wanted to explain something.
First down and 10 at the 36.
Seemed to be a little bit of confusion on the spot of the ball. Hauser takes a snap, hands it off, bumps to the outside, tries to get around the Coastal defense. Will get, let's say, 1, maybe 1.5 yards out to the Coastal 36. Or not Coastal 36, out to the ECU 36.
Wyatt Gideon on that tackle, no gain.
Stopped by Wyatt Gideon, and my eyes deceived me. That was no gain. Quick snap, same guy, met at the the ECU 37 and driven back to the 35.
Oh, they ran the same play and got about the same result on that one.
And just like that, it is 3rd down here. Student section gets loud. Stadium is starting to roar. 3rd and 8 now for the ECU Pirates. Hauser tries to get close to the jump. Now he's looking to the sideline for the play. Hauser takes a snap, drops back, takes it himself, running up to the 40, almost to the 45, given the 44-yard line. And he'll go the distance himself.
He got popped on that one. Audible to QB draw on that play. And he got really hit at the end there. He heard it in the crowd. They heard it.
Popped at the end, but the result stands. Oh, he actually did not get there. My eyes deceived me again. How about that? It looked like he got there from my angle. Well, the early 4th down attempt here for the ECU Pirates. Crowd gets even louder now, and timeout taken by the Coastal defense.
Seems like they saw something that they just weren't ready for. Forcing them to burn the first time out here very early in the first quarter.
ECU seems to be wanting to get that ball down and get it moving. Keep Coastal's defense on their heels and constantly moving.
I mean, that's a good play. That's a good strategy from ECU. Coastal hasn't really been able to get a foothold on defense these last 2 weeks. Even though last week they held Charleston Southern to a goose egg on the scoreboard, they're an FCS school. That's not really that much of a feat, eyes of a lot of college football fans.
And ECU has run their punt team onto the field, as it looks like that will be a 4th down bluff.
Maybe the strategy on that, force Coastal to burn a timeout. But they had the idea to punt from the very beginning. Oh, fire drill.
The fire drill. They're running the offense back on. I have never seen this. Coastal's panicking.
Now
they got to wait for substitutions now. In motion. Hauser. Net in the backfield. Stopped. There is a flag on the play. We're going to see what that dirty laundry is.
Coastal might have had too many men on the field there. With all the chaos, they might have gotten everyone off they needed to get off.
I have never seen that before.
It was on ECU. Interesting right out of the gate by the Pirates there.
It'll be 4th and 7 for ECU now. And this time, unless we get any late in the snap antics, it looks like they will be punting it this time. Will Lightning strike twice? I don't think so. ECU gets the punt off. Line drive punt. Lets it land in front over it. Slips through, spins, breaks the tackle, gets a couple more yards up to the 28-yard line. Bryson Graves fielding the punt, getting a good couple yards out of that. It'll be Coastal's ball at the 27-yard line, the Chanticleer 27-yard line. Well, we're going to get our first look at Tad Hudson here. First regular season start here. First regular season start of his young collegiate career. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, his first start ever coming against UTSA in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Could you imagine your first ever start in college being in a postseason? Tad fakes the handoff, throws it to his receiver who gets upended behind the line of scrimmage.
Robbie Washington.
Just got bodied behind the line. Empty backfield for Tad Hudson. Motion Simpkins. Takes a snap, drops back, throws, and the open man, a little low on the pass, drops it. He got his hands on it, but he dropped it. It was a little bit at his ankles.
And that's one of the things that Coastal has been trying desperately to get a hold of is the pass game. Bring in offensive coordinator Drew Hollingshed from WKU to help kind of bolster up their passing attack. A Mike Leach disciple.
Bryson Graves, the intended receiver. And it's quickly 3rd and 9 for the Chanticleer offense. Hudson drops back to pass. The pocket collapsing. He uses his legs. He chucks it downfield. It's caught! Caught at the ECU 35.
That's probably what we're going to see from us today. Robbie Washington beating his man in the middle of the field. Huge chunk of yards for the Chanticleer as they hurry to the line. Quick snap. Hudson fakes the handoff. Just out of reach from Bryson Graves. Coastal going some up-tempo there, trying to catch that defense on their heels after a great chunk play there. Tad Hudson to Washington. As I was just saying, Coastal trying to get a hold of their pass offense. It's been absolutely dormant the last 2 games.
Coastal taking their time now. 3-man backfield. Strong side is the left side. Hudson, hands off this time, and he is met in the backfield and swallowed up, but still keeps those legs churning. Got maybe a yard or 2 out of that.
And with that pass offense not being as strong, the rushing offense has been the bread and butter of this Coastal team these last 2 games.
3rd and 8 for the Chanticleers. And the Chanticleers haven't been able to find much success on the ground. ECU only allowing 54.5 rush yards a game so far early in this campaign. Tad Hudson drops back to pass. Eyeballs downfield. Middle of the field again. Pass was made He was caught and then fumbled. The officials have a different ruling, and they're saying he did not complete the catch. Pass intended for Bryson Graves into the hands, and it jarred out as he got hit and was going to the ground.
I don't think ever. He had that for a split second, but the DB was right there to knock it free.
Huge play for the Chanticleer, sets them up for a nice field goal. Put some points on the board here.
Despite not being able to finish the job on this, get a touchdown. That big chunk play from Hudson to Washington sets them up for this opportunity.
The kick is up, and no good. No good. Missed just to the right.
I get it's a long field goal, but a team against ECU, you have to bang that home. You have to at least draw first blood somehow, get ahead of this ECU offense that could explode like a powder keg at any moment.
11:08 left to go here in the first. We're going to take a short break, and we will be right back here on WCCU SN, Coastal Carolina University Student-Run Sports Network. ECU getting ready for their second drive of this game. Takes a snap. Hauser throws, complete, swung around. Whistles now blow, but he was met immediately as he caught the ball.
The reception made by Smith.
ECU looking to keep a tempo here.
Second down.
Another stop by Miles Muyong. Hauser takes a snap, hands it off, back up the middle for a nice little gain of about 6 yards.
That's the funny thing about Coastal's defense this year. It's been they're able to stop you on 3 out of the 4 plays, but that 4th play is a chunk play of like 10 or more yards.
And some more tempo, another run play straight up the gut. Trying to get that little extra yardage, but I may still be just short. They are going to give it to him. First down for the Pirates.
Seems like they're going with some tempo here, ECU.
London Montgomery, the lead back now. Hauser drops back to pass. Long pass. Number 9 on the sideline. Complete. Right in the bucket.
And I was just about to say, Hauser's been testing this Coastal secondary. Just these little short jab, little jab, little jab. we're waiting for him to kind of like see if he could take the lid off this secondary, and he almost sprung one there.
Anthony Smith finding a little gap in the secondary as the ECU Pirates keep it going. Quick screen pass back to the same guy. Slips loose. Big spins around. Dives forward for a couple extra yards up to the CCU 11.
That was Anthony Smith on the reception.
Back-to-back receptions for Anthony Smith, as this Coastal defense has not been able to find an answer this drive to slow down the ECU offense.
First down.
After getting the best of the ECU offense on the last drive, yep.
Caden Hauser again a screen pass, this time number 10. Driven out around the 5-yard line.
Well, the old adage goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. 2 screen passes right in a row and just about similar results. Good yardage for ECU.
Wide receiver Parker Jenkins on the reception. And again, Hauser fakes the handoff, screen pass outside. This time met just at the line of scrimmage. They got there quick, fast, and in a hurry. Parker Jenkins, the intended receiver again.
And you can see the change or the adjustment that Coastal made right there. As soon as the screen pass was made, you had 2 corners already converging on the receiver.
3rd down and 2 now here for the Chanticleers. Trying to hold back the ECU Pirates. Their backs against the wall. Trying to get a little bend, don't break action. Hauser calls a snap, but it is blown dead. It is a false start.
Sort of a little bit of a break there for the Coastal defense. Not so much against the wall now. However, ECU, it is 3rd and 7. They can get a new set of downs here. They don't necessarily have to go for the end zone on this one.
3rd and 7 now for the Pirates. 3 men out wide to the right. Empty backfield for Hauser. And he's going to take it himself, running up the gut. He is stopped just short.
That's the second design QB run for ECU that ECU seems like there's somebody they're going to be relying on today. Good mix of plays by the Pirates up to this point.
Caden Hauser, 2 runs for him tonight. So far, he is 6 for 6 against the Chanticleer secondary. 68 yards. And he currently leads all rushes with 2 attempts for 11 yards. And they're keeping the offense out there for 4th down. They're going to go for it. Hauser to the end zone. Touchdown, Pirates. Yannick Smith, sophomore. And the Pirates get on the board early.
And if you're Coastal, that's got to be a backbreaker. Knowing what you know about coming into this game, knowing how close you were to scoring yourself on the previous drive and allowing ECU to come out here, gash your defense and get first points on the board, got to be a bit of a heartbreaker for Coastal Carolina.
Nick Mazzy with the PAT. It is up and through.
Kick is good. With 7 minutes and 26
7-0 here late in the first quarter.
East Carolina.
We're going to take a short break here on WCCU-SN, Coastal Carolina University student-run sports network. Welcome back to Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina, where the Chanticleers trail the Pirates 7-0 with 7:26 left in the first quarter.
Yeah, don't pay attention to the score bug. I'm not on top of the time on that one.
Unfortunate. We will keep you updated on the time. For now, we are going to get the kickoff from the Pirates. Looks like Noah Perez is going to be kicking off. Ball is sailing. Fair catch made at about the 5-yard line, which, if you're unfamiliar with the rules, that is a touchback. Coastal will start their drive at the 25-yard line.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's an interesting rule. It's one of the ever-changing aspects of, football. They're always trying to reinvent the wheel. It's most likely not a new thing. I like it for player safety and because but I'd like to see more kick returns.
I'll give my thoughts in a second here after this snap.
Tad Hudson with a 3-man backfield. Takes a snap, drops back, surveying the field. Ball is tipped in the air and almost caught on the tip-up. ECU defenders had no idea where that ball was.
Really great. And as we mentioned, we wanted to see Coastal get the pass game going. Bringing over now OC Drew Dillon, Hollingshead from WKU. Previous season, his quarterback threw for 3,000 yards and was the Conference USA Player of the Year. Mike Leach descendant, air raid offense, which is weird, Coastal being a traditionally triple option team.
Tad Hudson taking the snap of the shotgun. He's now using his legs, running out the field. Dives for a couple extra yards. And down at about the 32, 33-yard line. Just short of the line to gain.
So good improvisation skills there by Tad Hudson. Saw the pocket was collapsing, stepped up, didn't see anything down the field, and just decided to take it himself for the modest gain there. And now he puts the Chanticleers in a nice third and short situation.
And it looks like we're getting a substitution at quarterback here. And it's going to be a design QB run. They're going to stop him just short of the line to gain. He barely even got a blade of grass.
And that's something Coastal loves to do. Is they do like to utilize their quarterbacks up and down the roster. I've seen that multiple times. It depends on the situation. I think that was MJ Morris had in there because Morris is a great with his legs. And I didn't quite catch the number, but
it's a little hard to see from this perspective from the side shoulder pads. Regardless, Coastal Carolina 4th and 2 decide they are going to punt the ball away.
Very unfortunate end to what started out to be a promising drive.
Line drive kick to the ECU returner. This ball is going to be returned. He breaks one tackle out to the 30, pushed out about the 31. ECU will get the ball back.
ECU going to come back on the field now after their capitalizing, getting into the end zone on their last drive.
Kyle Pearson, the return man for the Pirates. As it stands right now, ECU is shredding the Coastal Carolina secondary with 73 total yards on the day and 20 rush yards with 5 first downs. Coastal Carolina's defense had no answer for the Pirates here. Will they be able to answer the call this drive? We'll find out when we return here on WCCU-SN, Coastal Carolina University Student Run Sports Network. Welcome back to Conway, South Carolina. ECU getting ready to take their third drive of the game. Ball sitting on the ECU 31. 5:55 left here in the first quarter.
Yeah, I'm going to also mention here a word that you said. It's pretty loud in here. The environment's pretty crazy up in here.
It's been all ECU thus far here tonight. Let's see if the Coastal defense, especially the Coastal secondary, has an answer. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff, throws it up the middle, breaks 4 tackles, still going out to around the Coastal 47-yard line. Sorry, ECU 47-yard line.
That pass complete to J.C. Connor.
Some tough running there by tight end J.C. Connor. He had 4 guys on him.
Caton Hauser takes the snap, empty backfield, eyeballing it. Deep pass, almost intercepted. Good pass defense.
A little measure of revenge there by the Coastal secondary. Broken up by Jamarion Wayne.
I was like, give that pass breakup to Jamarion Wayne. Hauser was looking downfield the whole time.
A team that's been getting ECU been getting the best of Coastal secondary all game.
That is Hauser's first incompletion of the game as he takes the snap, tosses the outside. That's his running back. That's number 5 for ECU.
The ball goes to
Parker Jenkins, the junior. And they're keeping a rotating backfield of running backs. We've seen so far today London Montgomery, Parker Jenkins. Not sure if we've seen Marlon Gunn Jr. yet. 3rd down and 5 for the ECU Pirates. Time is ticking. Hauser takes the snap, drops back, eyeballing middle of the field, wide open. That's number 8. Stumbles, meets a guy, and is taken down at the CCU 32-yard line.
That's the second chunk play there by J.C. Connor.
Stopped by Gordon. First down and 10. The ball was resting at the 32.
He's just having to find himself in places where the secondary is not. Find those little gaps there.
ECU going back to the hurry-up. Hauser takes a snap, hands it off, running to the outside, popped at around the 30-yard line. Still in the game is Parker Jenkins.
Once again, ECU with a nice mixture of plays here, keeping that Coastal defense guessing, and it's working. It's working right now. Ball spotted at the Coastal 31-yard line.
ECU, plenty of pass yards to go around, but not a lot of passing TDs. That was just their 5th on the year, the previous drive. They have 6 rushing touchdowns so far, which leads me to believe that they are using the pass game to get close. Quick pass outside to number 12 for about 5 yards. Give it to number 12. ECU, Jaquez Petaway.
It just seems like Coastal's weakness in the secondary is the screen pass. They have not been able to be privy to it and stop it.
Another hurry up here on 3rd and 2. This time they're going to hand it off to the back. That's still number 5. Parker Jenkins. And Jenkins gets just enough for the first down.
And you got to think this Coastal defense is starting to get a little tired out here. After giving up a touchdown on the previous drive, Coastal's offense gone 3 and out. Not a lot of time to rest for that Coastal defense.
All alone in the backfield for Hauser. This may be another one of those QB runs. Jenkins in motion, fake handoff, drop back. Hauser deep down the middle, through the hands of the ECU receiver, almost picked off by Coastal Carolina. That was number 6, Jasiro Riles.
Now Hauser had him squared up. He was in a great spot. It's just overthrew his receiver there.
Hauser, single back in the field, fake handoff, pass to the outside. That'll give him a couple yards to around the 15-yard line. Pass caught by number 12, Jaquez Petaway. And ECU finds himself 3rd down once more in the red zone. Last time they were in this situation, Coastal Carolina let up a touchdown. Hauser takes a snap, fake handoff, drops back, rolls out. Pass to Petaway. He is met immediately behind the line of scrimmage. ECU will lose yardage on the play. 4th and 3. ECU will run their field goal unit onto the field to attempt a field goal.
And after just getting trampled on for most of that drive, Coastal's defense standing tall in the red zone where it matters the most.
The place kicker for the ECU Pirates remains Nick Mazzi. And good snap, good hold. Kick is up, and the kick is through. ECU will go up 10-0 now on the Chanticleers as we are getting into the waning minutes here in the first quarter. Minute 44 left on the clock. Coastal Carolina will get the ball back after we return here on WCCU SN, Coastal Carolina University student-run sports network. Come back. ECU prepares to give possession back to the Chanticleers. Noah Perez, the kickoff guy here. As we get ready, Coastal gets ready for their third drive of the game. High kick. And that'll be touch the black end zone, the new black end zones here at Brooks Stadium for a touchback. Coastal Carolina starts their drive at the 25-yard line.
Speaking of new, there's a lot of new here at the stadium. As you mentioned, as you said, the new black end zones, they put down new turf. It's a little bit darker now than when it was the last 3 years I've been here. It's a little lighter the last few years. They have the party area over there in the end zone down by the scoreboard. And of course, the new practice facility finally opened up.
Yep, and then just smaller things. They traded out the FCS Big South titles for spray painting logos, and they moved them to the top press box area. Tad Hudson receives the snap. That's a little end around. He is almost, good yardage play for number 2. Give it to Malcolm Gilly.
That was just an interesting play design there. If Hudson had picked up that block there, I think that would have been going for at least another 20 yards.
I agree. He was that close to getting a bit extra yards. Tad Hudson takes a snap, fakes the handoff, pump fake. He's going to bring it up himself. Breaks the tackle, met by a big guy in the middle at around the 40-yard line, and a fumble. ECU says they have it,
and the referee said they do,
and the referees agree.
Very unfortunate end there to the Coastal drive. That's a little end around there. Breathe a little bit of life, a little bit of flair into this Coastal offense to get something going here, but unfortunately, that comes to an abrupt end.
Just a tough way to end something that just seemed to be gaining momentum. Empty possessions are what's gonna down the shots tonight if they keep it up.
Yeah, very early on, it just seemed like Coastal, those empty possessions are going to come back to haunt them later in the game. It is still pretty close right now, 10-0. However, those hidden points at the end of the game.
ECU in a plus territory at the 38-yard line, the Coastal 38-yard line.
Just over a minute to go here.
We get some whistles, and we're going to get a review here.
They waited for a long time before they called that review. Both offense and defense were already rounded onto the field.
See how quick this review is. Yeah, they took a little bit to look at that. They wanted, see if they wanted to maybe review it. Don't know how definitive it looked from their angle to call it call the ruling on the field.
Yeah, I didn't see much from up here. I didn't even know they fumbled it from up here. I didn't see the ball on the ground or nothing. That seemed like a rather quick. No, they're still reviewing. I thought they were taking it off. But as I was saying, I didn't even see that much from up here. And it might be one of those situations where ECU just sold it well enough to where the referees actually ended up agreeing with them. Depends on what kind of angles they have.
Ted Hudson not afraid to use his legs so far today.
No, already proven he's not afraid to get those yards on the ground.
Big arm through the air so far. Coastal 23 rush yards on the day. Only 39 pass yards as we are reaching the end of the first quarter here. ECU has been dominant through the air so far with 120 yards.
And as we mentioned at the top of the program, Coastal secondary, not their strongest area. And as we see on display here, the ECU offense kind of gashing that secondary. You know, they've been jabbing them with those screen passes, but then we've already seen a couple chunk plays of 10 or more yards, and that's what's really hurt this Coastal team up to this point in the game.
Leading receiver so far for the Chanticleers is Washington, and we get the upheld ruling from the referee. It'll be ECU ball on the Coastal 38-yard line, and that is a backbreaker for a team that's grasping for just some momentum, something to generate that offense.
I'll say right now, Omo has at a penthouse with the ECU at the current moment.
And with the Coastal defense gasping for air, trying to stay off the field for more than 2 minutes.
I'll say this Coastal defense has to be gassed, not even getting a chance to rest really at all.
10 from the 39.
CVCU could take advantage of a tired Coastal secondary.
And Hauser takes the snap. It's going to be London with the carry. London to the outside for a gain of around 3 to 4 yards.
Handed to London Montgomery.
London Montgomery.
He was knocked down by Lionel Whitaker.
Redshirt sophomore running back for the Pirates.
Second down.
Single man backfield again, it's London. Hauser takes a snap, hands it off again. Straight up the middle is London. London turning those legs at around, and he's down at the Coastal Carolina 34.
Most likely those 2 runs back to back, trying to set that play action. Hit this Coastal defense where it hurts, and that's right over the middle.
And very, very quickly, it is now 3rd down for the ECU Pirates. 3rd and 5, ball on the 34. Receiver in motion. And Coastal's going to get called for encroachment. Fake snap works.
Flags come in.
You saw that right away. He was very upset that he jumped on that one. I believe it was number 44 for the Coastal defense. That is Teo.
And that'll be a 5-yard penalty. That'll be just enough to give ECU the first down. In motion was last week's top receiver for ECU, Brock Spalding, redshirt junior.
I was like, that has to hurt. Like, it was just enough. They were 3rd and 5. That encouragement got them just enough yards to move the sticks without having to really do much work.
And it's the little mistakes that are killing this Coastal Carolina defense. And the clock is winding down as we reach the end of the first quarter here in Conway, South Carolina, with the score of 10-0 Pirates. We'll be right back here on WCCU SN, Coastal Carolina University Student Run Sports Network. Second frame about to kick off here in Brooks Stadium. ECU with possession. Ball on the CCU 29-yard line. As before the quarter ended, they got a first down because of a coastal jump, encroachment, little mental mistakes. Hauser fakes the handoff, past the outside. That's number 9. Met at around the 35.
Made by Anthony Smith.
Reception made by Anthony Smith.
Forced down by Whitaker.
Continuing over from that. My mic's all the way down here.
Down at the 22.
Just continuing to really take advantage of that coastal secondary.
Handoff to London Montgomery, Scranton native, went to Scranton Prep High School. Kind of our neck of the woods. Give him a gain of 1 as we have a Chanticleer down on the field. Injury timeout is called. That is number 30 for the Chanticleers, Dante Lewin.
And with how much this defense hasn't really played out to par, you can't really afford to have any injuries, especially one of your starters.
He is already up and walking off the field under his own power.
Hopefully just a cramp.
Most likely just a cramp. We'll see if he returns to this game as we will step aside here. Media timeout here in Brooks Stadium. You're listening to WCCU-SN, Coastal Carolina University student-run sports network. Welcome back to Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina. Coastal Carolina defense in bend don't break mode. 3rd and 1 on their own 20. Familiar situation here for the Chants. They're playing with their backs against the wall here.
And this defense just seems to be having no answer for this high-powered Pirates offense up to this point. Just able to perform at will.
Hauser with the snap. Montgomery up the middle. He may have gotten enough there.
It's going to be close. The spot
is just over the 20. Not quite the 19, but not quite. They're going to say he didn't get there. It's 4th down and a couple of inches, and ECU is so close to scoring, or so close to the first down, up 10-0. They're going to keep the offense on the field.
Looks like they're bringing some extra beef to that offensive line. It might be just a simple run up the gut here.
It looks like they're going to try their own version of the tush push. Never mind, they're just going to hand it on up the middle to, that's their running back, 21.
I don't know,
Marlon Gunn Jr., the first time we're seeing him tonight. And
no official ruling yet.
The ruling on the field is that
They said he was short. It's gonna be Coastal football.
They're going to give the Chanticleers they're going to give the Chanticleers possession.
Huh. All right.
Gunn Jr. met at the line immediately by the teeth of this Coastal defense.
And the second effort was snuffed out almost immediately as well by the Coastal corner coming down and just hammering him into the dirt.
The CCU offense back on the field. Hudson looking to pick it up a little bit. 2 for 6 on the day. Ball will be on the Coastal 20. Handoff. Outside. Huge run. Massive run up to the 35-yard line. Hard to see the number from here. He's still down on the field. A little shaken up.
That looks like number possibly 28, Ober.
And after a huge run, he took a big hit at the end there. Still down on the field.
A little shaken up down there. Got the trainers around him.
Injury timeout here in Conway.
He's up.
And after being down for a couple seconds, catch his breath, he'll pop right back up under his own power and walk to the sideline.
Getting a look at, go ahead.
A little bit of assistance by trainers, but for the most part, he looks to be all right.
Getting a look at the number, I could see that it was freshman Dominic Nicely. He's had himself a good start to the season so far.
Well, Dominique seems to run nicely behind this Coastal secondary.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Proud partner of Chanticleer Athletics.
Former athletic director Matt Hogue giving us our flowers, some praise here.
CAF members in attendance.
Yeah, I know we're still on the air right now. It's what it is.
It's an honor to be able to work with the former voice of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, one of the new heads of the WCCU radio, alongside Dr. J.C. Abdallah.
Much thanks for allowing us to be in this position right now. Haven't been a part of the radio for the last couple of years.
Still in an injury timeout in Conway, South Carolina. Coastal Carolina will have possession on the 35-yard line. 13 minutes and 17 seconds left to go in the first half.
Oh, I never gave my thoughts about the whole 20-yard, like the touchback thing. So as far as that goes,
yes.
Like you said, yeah, it's a safety thing. But like one thing I'll never understand is like how much changes from college to the NFL. I know that the NFL has a similar rule to that, but it's interesting how there's like the 1 foot rule for the college, but then there's 2 feet in the NFL. You would think that college is supposed to prepare you for that next level. At least college athletics supposed to prepare you for the next level.
I agree. No, I agree. But at the same time, the NFL is a grown man's game. So you either, to put it bluntly, you adapt or die.
It's either you adjust or it's going to pass you by.
Yeah.
I guess, but it's the same thing. It's like, I don't know.
It's to separate the boys from the men and to see who can actually make it, I guess.
One moment. Sorry about that.
Lots of friendly faces here in Conway needing to directions.
Well, because they think we work for the stadium.
Tad Hudson receives the snap, kicked it to the outside.
Ooh.
Simpkins with a nice little run there. Almost up to the 50-yard line. Speedy, slippery, and that's just one of the 50-yard line.
So that's one of the things you love to see. James Simpkins had to deal with a lot of injury throughout his career here, especially last season. His season being ended early due to a foot injury. It's nice to see him out there again.
Coastal Carolina getting their swagger back a little bit as that pass is complete. That's number 2 for the Coastal Carolina receiving corps, Bryson Graves. Look from a 2 at this angle.
And now Coastal playing with some tempo, having ECU's defense on their heels after 2 rather sizable plays there.
2, not chunk plays, but
reasonable.
Little bites as Hudson drops back to pass. He's looking way downfield. That pass is way up there and broken.
Did he catch that? Did it? No,
Near
he
the
didn't.
goal line.
The pass is thrown incomplete.
Oh, that was right there. A little bit of fighting from both the DB and the receiver down there. Ultimately, Mega could not haul that ball in.
Penn State transfer Malik Mega, the intended receiver on the play, broken up by Key Crowell.
Coastal going for it all on that one.
2nd and 10 here. Simpkins in the backfield. Pass to number 4. Almost taken down at the 35-yard line. Gets a couple extra yards up to the 32-yard line. Pass reeled in by Bryson Graves.
Another chain mover there for Coastal Carolina. Coastal playing with some, getting a little bit of a groove here.
First down.
This is unseen before by the Chanticleers.
Seems like some new life being breathed into this Coastal offense.
Simpkins remains the lead back. Hudson changing the play. Hudson in the shotgun, takes the snap, looking downfield, airs it out to number 17. That's incomplete. Intended receiver was Cameron Wright.
A lot of the ire of Coastal fans down here looking to trying to get a flag here, but I didn't see really much at all. Both players really just jostling for the ball there.
A little bit of hand fighting never hurt anyone.
No.
Redshirt senior.
It's only second down now.
Tad remaining in the shotgun. Drops back to pass. Moving, airs it out to the 20. That's caught at the 20, runs back to about the 21, and then taken out at around the 21-yard line. That catch is good. That was caught by Malcolm Gilly.
All the receivers getting involved here on this Coastal drive.
3rd down and 1 for the Chanticleers. Ball on the 21-yard line. Tad Hudson handing it off. Never mind, keeping it himself. Running up the middle. Trying to get that little extra yardage. We'll see if he got there. The line judge is marking him a little short.
Nope, he's pointing the chains forward, I think. Yep, he's pointing the chains forward.
And we have an injured Pirate now down on the field. The medical staff jogging out to attend to him. And as they attend to him, we will step aside here on WCCU-SN, Coastal Carolina University Student-Run Sports Network.
Strand Custom Bowls, a proud supporter of Coastal Athletics.
Welcome back to Conway, South Carolina. The injured Pirate was Jamarly Riddle. After a couple moments, he popped right up, walked off under his own power.
Yeah, it just seemed like he got the wind knocked out of him a little bit.
They mentioned on the Jumbotron the next home game for the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers will be against ULM on October 11th.
Yeah, Coastal, after having 2 home games with Charleston Southern, now ECU, Coastal will be on the road for the next 2. Then you have that bye week in between.
Coastal won't get some home cooking for a little bit, so enjoy it. Let's see if we can enjoy it while it lasts. Coastal Carolina will be on the 20-yard line. Fresh set of downs, 10:45 left in the second quarter. Things have picked up a little bit for Tad Hudson. He went from 2 for 6, 5 to 11 for 70 yards. Our leading receiver is Robbie Washington, 2 receptions, 39 yards. Coastal in field goal range, so if they can't get through the end zone, see if they can at least get some points on the board. Hudson takes a snap, fake handoff, looks down the middle, pass broken up down in the middle.
There's a flag out there on the field, however, it is in the area that might be holding.
Intended for English.
Pass broken up by Chance Graves.
Second down.
See what the
Officials called holding on that one.
So that'll push the Chanticleers back about 10 yards, and we will get a 1st and 20.
A little bit of a bump of the road here for the Coastal offense.
Tad Hudson takes a snap, drops back, unblocked guy, almost gets to him. He gets the pass off, and receiver is taken down at the 25-yard line.
Raheem Krager was basically shot out of a cannon. Free guy almost nailed Hudson.
Oh boy, that play almost went bad in a hurry.
As that would not have been great.
Not great at all.
Second down at the 25.
2nd and 15 at the ECU 25-yard line. Hudson takes a snap, drops back to pass. He's looking downfield, airs it out, jump ball, it is picked off. Ball is picked off by ECU. That is number 2, Jamarly Riddle, who went out earlier due to injury, and he's still going. So he is now down at around the 37-yard line.
There's some laundry out there on the field.
But it most likely is during the return. This ball will stay with the Pirates.
This will be assessed after the interception. Unfortunately. Once again, another abrupt end to a rather promising Coastal Carolina drive here.
And unfortunately, that was a blunder on Tad Hudson. Got a guy blanketing coverage on his intended receiver. Just got the jump.
Kind of lollipopped it right there in the middle of the field. DB said thank you very much. And now the ball is back with ECU.
Brutal end to a drive that was not only something that Coastal needed, it was a long drive. Coastal was in the red zone. Coastal didn't need to force really anything down the field. They just needed to get some points.
Highly unfortunate end there.
Let's see what ECU has in store now. Ball on the 38-yard line, 9:14 left to go in the first half. Hauser takes the snap, fakes the handoff, drops back to pass, looking downfield, airs it out, and it is broken up. Just a little too much air under that pass. Pass intended for Yannick Smith.
Smith had the...
Second down.
As I was saying, Smith did have a step on Coastal's number 2, Wayne. He did have a bit of a step on there for a minute, but however, ball was a little underthrown, able to close out and knock that one away.
Hauser alone in the backfield, takes a snap, looking short, right in the middle. That's caught up around the 50, breaks one tackle, out to give him the 48-yard line, or 47-yard line rather.
The old bread and butter, ECU throwing it right in the middle of the field.
Play by Woods. First down.
Coastal's linebacker, no answer. Hauser takes a snap, quick throw to the outside, and taken out around the 44-yard line.
That pass caught
Number
by
9, Anthony Smith, the receiver.
Wrapped up by Muyong.
Miles Muyong forcing him out of bounds.
42.
Hauser fakes the handoff again, looking to his right, throws into the middle of 2 defenders, And his receiver didn't even put his hands out to try and catch it.
Seemed just like a little bit of a miscommunication there by the quarterback and his receiver. Just kind of, the receiver might have just shortened his route a little bit. It just fell right in the middle of the field.
Intended target was Peyton Mangrum. It is third down now for the Pirates. Ball on the Coastal 42-yard line. Let's see what this Coastal defense has in store for ECU on this third down try. Hauser takes a snap, throws, immediately met at the 35, almost 36-yard line. That is enough to move the chains.
Pass caught by Desario Riles.
Pass caught by Desario Riles, the tight end. And quick offense here for Hauser. Hands it off, straight up the middle, met at around the 35, makes it to the 34, maybe the 33.
Jenkins carries.
And you gotta imagine how deflating this is on that Coastal sideline, watching the ECU just march down the field after you yourself were just in this same position.
Parker Jenkins with the carry. He'll remain in the ECU backfield.
Second down.
Checking in on to the field is Anthony Smith. Or checking off the field, rather, is Anthony Smith. Strong side is the right side. Left side empty. Handoff to the running back up the middle for a minimum gain. That is still Jenkins. And just like that is quickly another third down the Pirates are facing. Ball on the 33-yard line. Looks 34-yard line. 3rd and 9, 7:30 left in the half. Coastal wants this ball back with minimum damage. Try and get some points on the board before the half. Get a little 2-for-1 going. Jenkins remains the back. Hauser takes the snap, drops back, looking downfield. Pass is complete to his receiver, number 19, Peyton Mangrum, in the middle of the field. That last cut he made at the end there was going to put him wide open. Hauser, quick offense here, and we're getting whistles now. Pass was dropped by Yannick Smith. And we're getting a false start called against the ECU Pirates. Pirates were going a little too fast there.
And you'll take anything to slow the Pirates are playing with so much momentum right now after that first down. Got to slow them down somehow. Hopefully that penalty kind of allows the defense to get a little bit of a breather, kind of lock in here.
Throw some cool water on this red-hot Pirates offense. Jenkins is the lead back once more. Hauser fakes the handoff to him. On the comeback, that's number 9. He's still free, running almost to around the 10-yard line. Number 9, that's Anthony Smith.
And one of the things that goes unsung is Yannick Smith down there. That blocking by Yannick Smith allowed, and his receiver, his teammate, no, that was number 9, Smith, to break free there.
Ran a quick curl route, balls on the 13. Hand off to Jenkins. Jenkins met on the left side and still turning the legs, still moving. At the 10, still moving forward, and they'll blow it dead at the 8-yard line.
Strong run there by number 5 for ECU, Parker Jenkins. Helped very much in part by his big beefy offensive line there, getting those little extra yardage.
Coastal defense trying its very best to hold back the ECU offense from scoring again. Hauser hands off to Jenkins. Jenkins slips up the left side, is unable to escape, down at about the 7-yard line.
And as you mentioned, the Coastal defense trying their hardest to not let ECU score for the second time off of a Coastal turnover, having scored previously off a Tad Hudson fumble.
Goal to go here for the Pirates. Ball on the Chanticleer 7-yard line. Jenkins will remain the lead back. Hauser takes the snap, takes it himself for no gain.
Toss about half a yard there.
It is third down now for the ECU Pirates. The Chanticleer defense looking to hold it to at least a field goal.
It's bend don't break mode for this Coastal defense. Backs against the wall. 5 yards to separate ECU and another touchdown.
Hauser, low snap, flicks it out to Jenkins, but Coastal's defense is not fooled by the play.
Interesting play concept there by ECU.
It'll be 4th and 5 for the ECU Pirates as they'll trot their field goal unit on to kick yet another field goal. Nick Mazzy perfect today. A field goal and an extra point.
That was some great closing speed there by number 1 for Coastal Carolina. That's Shane Bruce, of course. No, it's a great closing speed there by Bruce.
The veteran on that Coastal defense, the mentor. Good snap, good hold. And it's blocked! The field goal is blocked by the Chanticleers. Shot out of a cannon. And it's downed at around the Coastal Carolina 5-yard line. My goodness.
That field goal was blocked, tipped up, and grabbed by a Coastal, one of the Coastal defenders. Now, to me, I saw that happen. He should have gone down immediately. That could have been a. That could have been terrible. Oh no, that just should be. That just should be no good. Because the ball hit the ground first.
It was tipped up. That is a live ball.
Oh, never mind. I gotta brush up on that rule book.
Once that ball is tipped up, it is live.
Here's the thing: it bounced into the end zone. Think about it. We were this close to a 1-point safety.
Miles Woods ending up with the ball at the end there.
We were
Out
this
to the
close.
Coastal 5. And how about that? Coastal Carolina's defense in the end settling for nothing. And it looks like they're going to review this as a potential no good.
I mean, I might break because the ball was tipped. It did go forward. So, from what I understand, that should just be no good because it was tipped and went forward, not backward.
It's one of those things where you rarely see it. If a field goal is blocked, it typically goes backwards. We will step aside here really quick as they review this field goal on the CCS Coastal Carolina University Student Run Sports Network. Welcome back to Conway, South Carolina. The call was confirmed. We will get a 1st and 10 on the Coastal Carolina 5-yard line with 3 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in the half. 3 minutes and 42 seconds for Tad Hudson and the Coastal offense to string together some points in some form.
Now, this could be a difference maker for Coastal Carolina. If they have to go just about the entire length of the field here in order to, at least the length of the field, to at least get a chance at a field goal going to halftime.
First play is a handoff for no gain. Clock is ticking. 2nd down. Ball still on the 5-yard line. CCU trying to string something together. Tad in the backfield, 2 people. Tad hands it off again. And running back is still going. It still only makes it to about the 5-yard line.
That's one of the frustrating things that has been in the last 2 weeks is Coastal, the amount of times that they've run the ball in these situations. They run it on the first play, yeah, you understand that. But you have a guy who is running air raid offense, and you're running it on 2nd and 10 on your own 5-yard line.
Let's see if the plan changes here. Tad in the backfield with another running back. Tad draws back to pass, looking down the field. He's going to air it out down the middle of the field. And it is, they're going to say he caught it. His receiver fell down near the end there. Malcolm Gilly keeping that ball off the turf. CCU rushing to get this play off.
And there you go. Give your quarterback a little bit of confidence. Let him throw the ball.
Tad in the backfield. Hands it off. Upended at the 19-yard line. And a new addition to college football that slipped by me after its inaugural season. We get the 2-minute timeout now in college football. So while that tomfoolery happens, we will step aside here in Brooks Stadium. Welcome back to Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina. 2-minute drill here for the Chanticleers. Ball on their own 18. 2nd and 8 is what the Chanticleers face right now.
And Coastal moving the ball really well after that blocked field goal, long field situation right now.
Hudson takes a snap, drops back, throws it up the middle. That's caught at around the 24-yard line, gets up to the 26. Coastal used the timeout earlier in the game, so they only have 2 left.
The reception made by Mega.
Clock stops for setting the ball, and now the clock is running. Minute 50 to go. Ball on the 27-yard line. Tad takes a snap, drops back to pass, throws it up the middle again. Same receiver. Out to the 35-yard line, give him the 34.
Coastal now moving with a lot of tempo here.
Clock is still moving. And we're going to be paused for a second here while ECU trots some substitutions onto the field.
Coastal finally eclipsing over 100 yards in passing.
Minute 15 now as Hudson gets ready to take the snap. Running back in motion. Tad drops back to pass. He is taken down in the backfield. Defender unchecked. That is number 80.
Hudson brought down.
That is number 8 rather. And
Robinson.
Josiah Robinson. There was 2 number 8s, both designated on the defensive line. J.D. Lampley and Josiah Robinson.
Yeah, the second time that's happened tonight where you have a defender unchecked heading straight to the quarterback. That time was able to get there. Hudson tried his best to avoid the contact, and I think he did a good job preventing at least some hard contact there.
We're getting a bunch of whistles as it is time for the teams to come back out of the huddle. Coastal taking a timeout to talk things over. Stop the clock at a minute 4 here. Ball on the 27. 3rd and 10 facing the Chanticleers.
And Coastal, after having some great success moving the ball so far, finds themselves a bit of a roadblock here after that sack.
Let's see what Tad Hudson has in store here on 3rd and 10. Takes the snap, drops back, rolls out, looking downfield. Still trying to find someone. He won't. He's taken down at around the Sunbelt logo, which marks the 25-yard line, or the 15-yard line. Nope, 25. 25-yard line regardless. That is a sack. Hudson goes down for the 2nd consecutive snap.
And that's another disappointing end to a Coastal drive that they should have at least gotten some points out of it. Take advantage of that quick situation, that blocked field goal.
59 seconds to go here in the half. Coastal Carolina's punt team out to send it away. ECU back at the 35 to receive. Booming kick out to, it's received at the 30, and he's going to return it and taken down at the 30. 2 flags fly in at the end there.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of blocking in the back there. We'll probably get called. There's probably going to be 2 calls for the same penalty there.
Gunners got by him.
Despite that penalty, ECU now with a chance to make some magic happen. Go into the locker room with all the momentum. If they could score here on this drive, whether it be a touchdown or a field goal. Either way, they're going to be in some good field position here.
And it was designated as a holding penalty against the receiving team. This ball will be taken back. Couple yards. ECU will start this drive at the 20. 52 seconds to go here in the half. 1st and 10 ECU.
I would look for them to try and attack this Coastal secondary heavily, try and get to at least field goal range and knock one through before the half.
Coastal's defense barely able to keep them out of the red zone. Hauser takes a snap, single back. Now he delays the handoff, now hands off, breaks the tackle. That's London Montgomery. So it seemed like stop behind the line of scrimmage, gives him a couple of yards around a 3 or 4 yard carry.
I might be wrong. The Pirates might just be content with trying to run this clock out before half.
Clock still rolling. Short pass to number 9. That is Anthony Smith once more. Quickly 3rd down. Clock is bleeding out here at 20 seconds left to go in the half.
They don't have to run a play here.
ECU seeming very lackadaisical on their next snap here. Hauser takes the snap, hands it up the middle to Montgomery. Montgomery still on his feet. Montgomery upended, gets a couple of yards after being upended to the 33-yard line, and that'll take us to the half. Coastal Carolina down 10 points to the ECU Pirates, and will receive the kick at the start of the next half. It is 10-0 here. All the momentum going to the Pirates. We will return here after halftime on WCCU-SN, Coastal Carolina University student-run sports network. We abruptly welcome you back here to the Coastal ECU game on WCCU SN as they are adding 2 seconds to the game clock before the end of the half here. And ECU will take a timeout to talk things over.
Very odd.
Very odd occurrence here at the end of the half.
I have no idea what occurred to where now they added 2 seconds to the clock. Like I mentioned, kind of a weird occurrence, and ECU immediately calling a timeout because had they not called a timeout, clock would automatically be running, having it been a run play prior to their ruling to bring 2 seconds back on the clock.
ECU offense will now jog back onto the field after the timeout. We'll see what they have cooked up. It looks like Coastal's going 3-man deep. That Hail Mary defense.
You got to wonder what ECU has drawn up here. You got to think it's going to the end zone.
I think it's just going to be a handoff here and take us to the half. I'm wrong. It's a short pass out. That's number 10. He'll take it all the way up to the 45, out at the 45-yard line. That was Brock Spalding, and that will now take us to the end of the half, where ECU leads 10-0 here in Conway. We're right back on WCCU SN, Coast Carolina University Student Run Sports Network. Welcome back to this second half of ECU Coastal Carolina in Conway, South Carolina. Coastal Carolina will receive the second half kick as they try to erase this deficit against the Pirates. Rough first half for the Chanticleers. The student section is looking a bit empty.
That's not surprising.
And the kick is away, and it lands out of bounds. That's going to be a penalty against ECU. An early mistake for the Pirates.
Great starting field position coming up for the Chanticleers. Like I mentioned, early mistake by the Pirates.
Good field position now for the Chanticleers. Ball on the 35. Let's see if they are able to make something out of this.
Great opportunity for the Chanticleers to try and get up here on the board. Coming out of the half, blanked in the first. Had some miscues, 2 turnovers, led to a score. The fumble led to a score for ECU.
240 plus yards for ECU in the first half, but the score only 10-0, still doable for the Chanticleers. As Tad Hudson remains the quarterback, sends Simpkins in motion. Fakes the handoff, now outside is Simpkins, who gets blown up at the 30-yard line. His blocker just not able to handle the ECU defender.
I would say a lot of that is also on Hudson. He kind of telegraphed that pass the entire way. As they say, that might have been a bit of a hospital ball there. And given Simpkins' injury history, I'm glad that he was able to pop up, no problem.
So Coastal going backwards on their first play, 2nd and 14 on the 31 in this third quarter. Hudson takes the snap in the shotgun, drops back to pass. Passes outside, it's complete up to the 47-yard line. Huge completion by Robbie Washington with the catch.
And great job by Hudson just to stand in there, take the hit, still complete the pass downfield. Great chunk play there.
Absolutely. And that's just what the doctor ordered for Coastal Carolina. Some momentum on the Chanticleer side. It's a 3-man backfield. Hudson explaining something to his running back. Prepares for the snap. Sends in motion. That's a handoff straight up the middle to the 49, almost the 50-yard line.
Looks to be Edwards on that carry.
Coastal, after a rough start to the drive, are stringing together some good plays. 2nd and 7 on the 49.
And this is just what you want for your team coming out of the half. Down on the scoreboard.
Looking a little sluggish to start the game. Now with some energy, Hudson receives a snap, looking downfield, taking a little bit too long, steps in the pocket, throws deep down the field. It is caught at the 10-yard line, and he is down at about the 4. We do have a penalty in the backfield.
Unfortunately,
in the area of holding.
Unfortunately, this will not stand. I saw the hold the entire time. Great play, but once again, unfortunately, it will not stand.
Absolutely brutal for the Chanticleers, trying to string something together. So now instead of a 1st and goal at the 5, it is now a 2nd and 17 at their own 39-yard line.
And that's one of those things that Coastal has to control, is they got to stop giving them the momentum right back to them. They got to stop giving the momentum right back to ECU. They had a chance there to get a nice one, almost a 1st and goal. However, not to be.
Hudson all by himself in the backfield. Ready to receive the snap. Receiver in motion. Tad back to pass. Tad taking his time. Clean pocket. Dirts one at the 40. Receiver was in the area. Pass intended for.
3rd down.
Unsure of the number. They are a little bit far away. I need some binoculars. Regardless, pass incomplete in the dirt. It is now 3rd and 18.
Very quickly, this Coastal offense now having a hard time finding their groove again after that costly holding penalty.
Killer mental mistakes by the Chanticleers. Tad Hudson receives the snap, steps into the pocket, moving around, looking for an open man, throws across his body. It is complete, but the ball is loose. The ball is loose out of the 49-yard line, recovered by ECU.
Did he complete the catch?
Did he complete
did.
the catch? They are saying, it looks like they are saying no. He did not complete the catch. He got blown up in the middle of the field. This play might be looked at. It looked like he did get a couple steps in before the ball came loose.
There's an argument to be made there.
However, as it stands right now, the Chanticleer send the punt unit on to the field. ECU back to receive the kick. That is Kyler Pearson. Good snap, good boot. Hanging up there for a little bit, fair catch. And down at the 25, almost the 26-yard line.
Just a brutal way for that drive to end for Coastal.
And that's just been the name of the game tonight, is just brutal, brutal mistakes, mental errors, drops, putting the ball where it's not supposed to be.
And just when it seemed like they had something going there, snuffed out immediately on a holding call.
You hate to see it for a Chanticleer team that is just begging for someone to take the reins and begging for someone to get that offense moving.
Still a lot of games left to play, though. Only 12:29 left in the third quarter.
Ball on the ECU 26, 1st and 10. That's fake handoff. Wide open is his receiver, number 10. That is Brock Spalding, all the way out to about near the 50.
Completion to
And
Spalding.
And ECU pick up right where they left off, just gashing that Coastal secondary on those short little passes.
Keeping with the tempo, Hauser receives the snap, handoff to his running back. That's Jenkins. Jenkins gets to around the 50, and he'll get no more than that. It'll be 2nd and 10 on the ECU 49. 2nd and 7 on the ECU 49.
2nd down and 7.
No huddle for ECU still. Hauser takes the snap, fake handoff, drops back to pass, looking downfield. He will chuck it downfield. That's number 9. He's got some space. Broken up right at the end there.
That was a dangerous pass by Hauser. Almost dropped it right into the bucket of the DB down there.
Anthony Smith, the intended target.
I believe you had Moo Young back there on the coverage.
And now it is the Pirates will face 3rd down and 7. And Coastal Carolina's defense will look to get off the field and hopefully get this offense back on there with some steam still in their head.
Let's see what this Coastal defense has in store. Try and get off the field here.
Hauser takes the snap, looking downfield, curl route, and just short of the receiver, number 13. That was Tyler Johnson.
Trying to once again go back to that screen game. Unfortunately, a little bit of miscommunication there by Hauser and his receiver. All the ball falls harmlessly to the ground, and it'll bring up 4th down and 7 for the Pirates.
And for what seems like only the first time, perhaps maybe the second time tonight, the Pirates will be punting the ball away to the Chanticleers. Still a little bit shell-shocked from the fire drill. High punt. And it's going to be a muffed punt. It looks like the Chanticleers got back on top of it.
So you see flying through the air end over end, you know you're going to have a little bit of trouble with that one. And ultimately, there was a little bit of trouble there, but receiver able to pounce on top of it. Ball retains it with Coastal.
Bryson Graves was the returner who muffed the punt, but got back on top of it. So all is well in the world here in Conway. Coastal will be back on offense when we return here on WCCU-SN, Coastal Carolina University student-run sports network. Welcome back to Conway, South Carolina. Coastal ECU, 11:31 left in the quarter here. Ball on the Coastal Carolina 15. Well, we had a very interesting stoppage of play activity. You know, they do the little, little activities, little, race on the Jumbotron. As Tad Hudson takes the snap, tosses that to receiver 8. He'll be brought down for around a 2-yard gain. That was Jamison Tucker.
Oh, James Tucker sighting.
And what does Coastal Carolina decide to do as one of their stoppage of play activities? Hot dog eating.
Shout out Joey Chestnut.
Shout out Joey Chestnut. It was most likely to highlight the free concessions here at Coastal Carolina all season. Free popcorn, soda, water, nachos, and hot dogs, of course. Tad Hudson receives the snap, taking a little bit of time, throw it down the middle. That pass is dropped, unfortunately.
He
caught it.
Ref said he caught it.
He caught it. Number 4,
got a
that
hold of the line
was Bryson
here.
Graves.
Don't give him a chance to look at that one.
Coastal's got to keep it moving. First down, Chanticleers.
Great catch there by Bryson Graves.
Up past the 30 on the 32-yard line. Fresh set of downs. And Coastal barely doesn't get the play off. Referee's got to take a look at this one. It looked like I saw 3 separate pockets of pellets flying off the ground. One from the foot, one from the hand, and one from a mystery thing, whether it could be the other hand or perhaps the football.
I think he caught it. And with the ruling on the field being that he caught it, they got to prove it otherwise.
They do have to prove that he did not catch it.
Let's see.
And they're showing a rare shot of the replay on the Jumbotron. He plucks that off the ground.
That angle shows nothing. They got to show us the sideline view.
It looks like he plucks it off before it hits the ground, tucks it in so it's his wrist hitting the turf and not the ball.
I think he caught it. That might just be my bias, but I think he caught it.
He had a death grip on the football.
What an effort there by Bryson Graves to haul that one in. Here's another look at it. Oh, never mind. I thought they were going to give us another look at it.
Coastal Carolina needing all the momentum they can get, trying to put at least some points on the board. Their only attempt, even in the red zone, to score was that missed field goal in the first quarter. They have been pointless in the end zone. They have been non-functional in the red zone.
That is very true. However, a lot of credit to the Coastal defense come into play. As much as they've been gashing that secondary, Coastal's defense has not been made a fool of. They've been able to stand tall, and yes, ECU has made a lot of mistakes of their own, contributing to why they're only up by 10. However, it could be a lot worse.
It definitely could be
at the current juncture.
A lot worse right now.
What?
It could definitely be in a worse situation than we are in right now. And they overturn the play. Took a very long look at that one, but they end up overturning the play.
Wow.
I was not expecting that. I thought he plucked that off the ground.
I don't think there was enough there to overturn that. Because they ruled it down. They ruled it a catch on the field. And the angle they gave us didn't look like enough to be able to prove otherwise.
I'm honestly very shocked that they overturned that. It looked complete from my angle and from the replay that they showed us.
Defense getting the ECU fans riled up over here.
Coastal in an unfortunate situation right now. 3rd and 8 on their own 17. That pass taking away a huge chunk of yardage. Tad Hudson receiving the pass. ECU sending the house. Tad Hudson rolling out. Can't escape from the ECU defenseman. That is number 9 on the sack. J.D. Lampley. As I said before, there is 2 number 9s on the defense. Oh, there's not 2 number 9s. My mistake. It was J.D. Lampley then. How about that? Regardless. And I'd like to retract earlier, there is actually not 2 number 8s on the defense. It just looked like the 9 was melding into an 8. So there's a number 9 and number 8 on defense. That one was Lampley with the sack. Coastal punting it away. A high kick towards the Coastal sideline. No fair catch. He's going to return this one. Breaks the first tackle, running up by the 50. Trying to outrun his man. Up to the 45, 40. All the way up to the 35-yard line. And 3 separate flags fly onto the
Good
field.
Lord.
Solid return by Kyler Pearson of the ECU Pirates.
3 separate flags on that one.
Oh, my.
Let's go back to that Coastal drive right there. It's just been the story of the game. Just very unfortunate ends to promising drives there. That one not of their own doing.
And this one's going against the Coastal,
No,
the ECU return team.
that's against the receiving team right there.
The board.
That good return will be pushed back just a little bit.
Regardless, they still seem to be getting possession in the Coastal side of the 50, called at the 45-yard line. We're going to step aside here. ECU has possession here in Conway on WCCU-SN, Coastal Carolina University Student Run Sports Network. We'll be right back. Back here in Conway, South Carolina, as the ball is handed off to Jenkins. A ECU lid pops off, so he'll have to leave the field for a down. Hauser handing off the ball to Jenkins for a minimal gain up to the Coastal Carolina 43-yard line.
How's this for a name? The offensive line that lost his lid? Panda Askew.
Panda Askew. Hauser throwing up the middle. That's complete. Receiver upended at the 31-yard line. That was again Anthony Smith.
And ECU just doing whatever they want to this Coastal defense.
Yep.
As strong as they've been, it's starting to get to a point now where ECU is starting to figure out the holes, figure out the scheme, and just doing whatever they want to this Coastal defense.
ECU continuing with that high tempo offense. Jenkins up the middle again. This time pushed way back into the backfield towards the 25-yard line. No gain on the play. Shane Bruce, the first one to make contact.
Could be a bit of a measure of revenge there for the Chanticleers. Very minimal, no gain at all, actually.
2nd and 10 from the Coastal 31-yard line. ECU takes the snap, looking downfield, now looks to the middle of the field, and incomplete. Seemed to be a little bit of miscommunication there as it fell between 3 Coastal defenders.
And that's been a common thing tonight between Hauser and his receivers. And a big reason why the score is where it is what it is. 10-0. It honestly should be more. However, the miscommunication, the miscues on the ECU offensive side have really hindered that for them.
Almost 300 yards of total offense for ECU tonight. Hauser takes the snap, empty backfield, looks to Smith, completes the pass to Smith. Smith to the 25, Smith to the 20, Smith to the 15, Smith to the 10. He won't be stopped. Smith, touchdown Pirates.
Nope, they're rolling him short.
They're actually going to rule him short of the goal line. He may have stepped out half a yard short.
The referees conferred, and looks like the line judge was right there. He was privy to the foot coming out.
More than half a yard short. They're going to put him on the 3-yard line. Hauser hands it off to Jenkins. Jenkins up the middle. There's the score. ECU now goes up 16-0. Extra point pending.
That's as I was saying. The reason the score is what it is due to the miscommunication. No miscommunication on that one. Big chunk play there by ECU, capped off by a short run.
Absolutely dicing up the Coastal Carolina defense. Nick Mazzy, perfect tonight. He'll line up for the point after try. The kick is up and splits the uprights perfectly. ECU goes up 17-0 on the Chanticleers. Coastal now down 3 scores with 8:15 left here in the third quarter. And just an offensive domination by ECU. The Coastal Carolina defense having no answers to stop Caden Hauser and actually Anthony Smith. Like, he's been the #1 guy all game for ECU. He has 9 receptions tonight for 111 yards.
And I mean, you got to think that last week was Spalding having a great game, connecting with his quarterback, having 81 yards last week and a score. This week it's Smith tallying 9 total receptions for 111 yards, 31 yards being as long as 56 yards after the catch. It's just a tale of what week it is. These receivers ready to step up. So these receivers are ready to give the quarterback the weapons that he needs. And you got to think Coastal is reeling, being down now 17-0 with 8:10 to go in the third quarter here. Still a lot of time to go. However, time is quickly running out.
The kick is up. It's a high kick towards the end zone, and they're going to let it fall onto the black turf for a touchback. We're going to get another look here at the Coastal Carolina offense, sticking with Tad Hudson tonight, who, despite the interception, he seems to have this Coastal Carolina offense moving and grooving.
Yeah, that one interception being a bit of a blemish to
a somewhat mediocre night for the young quarterback. Only his second career collegiate start.
I would like to know, however, that this passing offense is that's a fake handoff by Hudson over the middle to. That's going to be number 17 for Coastal Carolina. That's going to be. Go ahead, take it away.
Number 17, Cameron Wright.
Anyway, as I was saying, this Coastal passing offense has not been great. It's not been potent. They have thrown 6 interceptions and no pass touchdowns yet this year, and it's game 3.
And they lost a big-bodied target early before the season even started, Kane Barong, who unfortunately suffered another torn ACL, his second of his career. Tad Hudson back to pass. ECU defense coming down hard on them. Ball was tipped and falls harmlessly to the ground. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the Coastal Carolina 44.
Even though there's still 7.5 minutes and a whole quarter to go, you got to sit here and think that this is a game-defining drive for the Chanticleers. They need to go down. They need to get a score. They can't allow them to have another empty drive.
They need to get something. Tad trying to get them to jump. Now stepping up to the line. Sets up in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Looking around, moving around the pocket. Surveying. Finds his guy near the sideline. That was number 2, Malcolm Gilly.
There's a flag down.
And another flag down on the field. Seems to be a reoccurring thing when the Chanticleers have a big play. Let's see what this one's all about.
They've already indicated it's going to be on the Chanticleers.
And that's going to be pass interference on Gilly. So no wonder he was so wide open. He pushed off on his guy.
Do they call that on Gilley, or do they call that on Washington?
Regardless, either way, just another horrible, horrible mistake by the Coastal Carolina offense, taking another massive play off the board.
Because that play would have been good, would have been complete for 21 yards. The other one that was right by penalty on a holding was 47.
Hudson back to pass over the middle into traffic. Hit looked a little early, but they're going to wave it off. Ball falls harmlessly to the ground. It is now 3rd and forever for the Chanticleers. 3rd and 35 yards on their own 29-yard line.
That's in the next city. That's the line of gains over there in Georgetown.
3rd down.
From where they're at, it's basically in Georgetown.
That line of gains all the way back in Socastee. Tad receives the snap. Short pass, number 4. That's Graves. Graves seemed to have a little thing going there. Unfortunately, upended at the 30-yard line. Gain of 1 yard.
Once again, deflating for the Coastal offense.
Brutal is the name of the game tonight for the Coastal Carolina offense. Getting things going. One huge play that could define the drive, called back via penalty. Another one. Booming punt for the Chanticleers. Back to receive it is, and fair catching it is Kyler Pearson once more.
To add insult to injury out here, it seems we might have a little bit of an invasion over there in the Coastal Carolina student section. There is a ECU fan holding a no quarter flag down there in the Coastal Carolina student section.
Unfortunate for the brand here for Coastal Carolina.
It's time for the helmet shuffle.
Helmet shuffle time on the Jumbotron. We won't be answering that on the broadcast, as we will be taking a short break here on WCCUSN Coastal Carolina University Student Run Sports Network. Welcome back to Conway, South Carolina, as the ECU offense will take the field once more against the Chanticleers, who have had no ways to stop them so far tonight. sort of having their way with Coastal Carolina. Flag on the field early.
For those curious, the helmet was 1. The football was under helmet number 1 for the helmet shuffle.
I got it wrong and said that it was number 3. We're going to see what the penalty is here on ECU. Or rather, it was on Coastal Carolina. It sounded like an illegal substitution penalty.
The substitution rules are so gray.
So it'll be a 1st and 5 on the 20-yard line for ECU. Handoff to the running back. He'll try and get some yardage on the outside. He will not. That was looked to be 28. 28, DeJohn Lacey. Hudson receiving the pass. Not Hudson. My mistake. That was, they both start with the same last letter. Hauser receiving the snap. Handed up to the same guy, Lacey, for a minimal gain. 3rd and 2 now. Ball on the 28-yard line. Hauser, quick snap. And that's the same guy, Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith to the 40-yard line. He'll be pushed out either around or just before the 40-yard line at the 39-yard line, adding to his monumental night here in Conway.
Smith having a great night tonight.
First down at the 40.
Tempo offense for the ECU Pirates. Hauser. Little bit of a pause now. Now signaling ready to play. Hauser trying to get Coastal to jump. Takes the snap, hands it off. Lacey to the outside. Lacey spin move, but drilled in the back in the middle of his spin for a minimal gain. Ball make it up to the 44-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 6.
So there was gain defining for the offense. It's also for the defense here. Try and get him off the field, give the offense another shot.
Fake handoff works, gets through outstretched hand of the Coastal Carolina defense to Smith once more. That'll be good for a 1st down, and they will be on the Coastal Carolina side of the 50 on the Coastal Carolina 40.
There's got to be a point where you decide you got to start double covering Smith out there.
Smith tapping the top of his helmet. Play maybe going to him once more. It won't be. It'll be handed off to Lacey. Lacey right up the middle for a gain of good couple of yards. That was, the original spot was the 43. Now it is up to the 40-yard line. Give him about 3 yards on that. It'll be 2nd and 7 coming up for the
And it doesn't have to be
Pirates.
big chunks for ECU. It's just hammer away, hammer away, hammer away. Chip this defense down, tire him out, and hit him up over the top.
Coastal Carolina trying to stop this steamrolling ECU offense. Hauser takes a snap. In the middle, it's picked! It's picked off by the Coastal defense.
That's Shane Bruce out there, and it's Coastal ball.
Jumping the route at the end there. My goodness.
Who else? Who else to put a spark in this Coastal team than the veteran Shane Bruce?
Shane Bruce continuing to stamp his legacy here at Coastal Carolina. We were unsure whether he was going to return at the end of the Myrtle Beach Bowl for his super senior season. He will now come back. He came back, and as you can see, his production on the field hasn't changed. The turnover cloak present.
They're just something about Coastal and their middle linebackers.
Just something about them. Well, now we'll see the Coastal Carolina offense on the field. Maybe some winds of change coming.
This is huge for Coastal Carolina.
Tad Hudson still in at quarterback. Drops back to pass, looking downfield. It's a long one. Fakes the pass. Now it's going to the running back in the screen. Nothing going there.
Ooh, had me tense up a little bit. That DB was right there, ready to pop number 20, Edwards, as soon as he caught that ball.
Slow start to this Coastal Carolina drive. Seemed to be a good play design, just couldn't get the ball there in the hands of the receiver. It was a little short. Hudson in the shotgun. He's been in the shotgun for majority of the game. Back to pass, in the pocket, stepping up. Now taking it with his legs, running past the 40, sliding down at about the 40, let's say the 46-yard line. 46, 47.
And once again, the improvisation skills by Hudson on display there. The quarterback keeper just tuck it and run, not being able to see anything open downfield.
Enough to get them a first down on this drive. Let's see if they can put together a big play cleanly. ECU sending some substitutes out. Trying to make everything clean here. Ready for play. Hudson with the snap. Hands off to Simpkins. Simpkins to the outside. Simpkins running past the 50. Simpkins to the 55. Still going. Simpkins still on his feet. Now will be brought down at around the 44-yard line on the ECU side of the 50.
Coastal now stringing together some monumental plays on this drive.
The fleet-footed Javen Simpkins, who hasn't had much success throughout the night, stays on his feet, just absolutely churning and trying to get those extra yards. Shifty running back work from Javen Simpkins. Hudson takes a snap, rolling out to his right, looking downfield, stops, throws deep pass to the middle of the field. That is incomplete, broken up, and we got a flag. Flag on the play at the 5-yard line.
Looks like there might be some PI down there.
A lot of grabbing by the ECU defender. Let's see what the officials say on this one. Typically, this is the killer of the Coastal offense. Let's see what the officials have to say about this. It's looking like it's going to be pass interference on the ECU Pirates. So Coastal Carolina catching a break there for once tonight. Usually those fouls on big plays go against the Chanticleers. This time, goes against the Pirates. Coastal gets a fresh set of downs and moves up to the ECU 29-yard line. Let's see if they can get some points on the board here. Tad Hudson moving up to his line, relaying a message, now ready to receive the snap. And it looked like ECU may have jumped first. I don't know. It looked like, and from the reaction of, it will be false start. From the reaction of the Coastal running back, it will be a false start. Javen Simpkins getting a little emotional about that one. Maybe throwing some cold water on this Coastal Carolina offense.
What's been the story of the game is these strong showings on offense have always been snuffed out by at least one penalty.
Tad receiving the snap, rolling out to his left, hit as he throws. It'll bounce harmlessly out of bounds at around the 30.
There's been little to no time in the pocket tonight for Tad Hudson. Most of his throws coming from outside the pocket.
Coastal will be staring at a 2nd and 15 at the ECU 34.
Second down at the 34.
If you're Coastal, you have another whole quarter to go and you have all 3 timeouts. Not trying to force anything stupid here.
The Coastal faithful waiting with bated breath, hoping to knock up empty on another possession.
There's the snap, fake handoff to Simpkins. Tad's climbing up in the pocket, rolling out to his right. Now passing, holding on the receiver. Incomplete. It looked like there was a little bit of holding there by the defensive back. However, referees think different. It is now a 3rd and 15 at the 34-yard line. Still 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
Good job by Hudson to get up out of the pocket and give his receiver a chance to come down with that ball. Unfortunately, there was just too much fighting down there, and ultimately the ball just falls harmlessly to the ground.
And luckily falling harmlessly to the ground as there was 3 defenders in the area and only 1 Coastal receiver. 3rd and 15, Hudson, the snap, unchecked defender. Ball falls incomplete in and out of the hands of Robbie Washington. 4th and 15 for the Chanticleers now, as Tim Beck will opt to keep the offense on the field to attempt a 4th and about a half a mile.
I don't know if I quite agree with it. I think you can try and take the points here, but I like the aggressiveness by Beck.
Let's see if it's a bluff. It is not a bluff. Hudson drops back to pass, eyeballing downfield. Is brutally hit in the pocket. Couldn't get the ball out in time. He goes down. Turnover on downs. Ball goes back to ECU on the 41-yard line. And as you can probably hear on the broadcast, the Pirates have completely taken over here at Brooks Stadium. It's been all ECU all game. Can't take those possessions for granted.
Absolutely not. Great interception by Bruce. Once again, coming up empty.
Coastal Carolina trying their hardest to push the ball downfield, just can't make it happen. As a handoff goes up to the 45-yard line. It'll be a 2nd and 5.
You guys sit here and start to think that a score here by ECU kind of might ice the game for the Chanticleers. We got to be able to string together much offense tonight.
Another handoff by Hauser. Short gain once more, a couple of yards there. And just ECU trying to bleed this clock down. It'll be a 3rd down here for ECU as they try to hype up the Chanticleers to get this ECU offense off the field that has been slicing and dicing at this Coastal Carolina secondary, especially Anthony Smith. Top target for the ECU Pirates. Snap to Hauser, he'll hand it off again. This time up the middle, it's London. London gets up to the 50-yard line. And it'll be a Pirates 1st down in the waning seconds here of the the 3rd quarter.
Pirates will get one more snap here before the end of the quarter.
Hauser tried to get Coastal to jump. Now he'll relay a message to his line. Called an audible. The receivers will switch position. Hauser takes the snap. Delayed handoff to Montgomery. Montgomery out the middle. Montgomery still going. Taken down at the, give him the 41-yard line. Coastal Carolina 41-yard line as we are entering the 4th quarter, as we call it here, the Shant quarter in Brooks Stadium and Conway, South Carolina. This is WCCU-SN, Coastal Carolina University student-run sports network. We'll be right back with the 4th quarter. Welcome back to Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina, as we get this final frame underway in the ECU Coastal Carolina game that's been all ECU all night long. Handoff to the right side will go for no gain. It'll be third down for the Pirates. And the Pirates have had looks to be almost 400 yards of total offense tonight.
So you just can't have that. If you're Coastal Carolina, you just can't have that. I know it's an obvious thing to say, as that one is broken off by number 7 for
London Montgomery.
London Montgomery. You just can't have that. Coming into this game, you knew that you had to make a statement. You had to be the team to make that statement. And they just came out. Defense has been flat. Yeah, they've had their measures of revenge here and there, but ECU operating at will.
This will be Coastal Carolina, as that pass to down the middle is incomplete. And ECU fans clamoring for a PI, but it was a little bit of hand fighting between both sides. As I was mentioning, this will be Coastal Carolina's second to last non-conference game of the year. They'll be heading to Columbia near Thanksgiving to face the mother school, the school that Coastal Carolina was born off of, the University of South Carolina Gamecocks.
The real USC.
Hauser drops back to pass to Montgomery. Montgomery up to the 25-20, spun out at around the 17-yard line.
And it gets to a point where you feel like it's almost inevitable for Coastal Carolina. A score here ultimately will probably be that nail in the coffin for the Chanticleers.
The gain is to the 19.
You don't want to say it's over before the clock hits triple zeros. However, the ECU offense has been phenomenal. The CCU offense has fallen flat, and the CCU defense has been weak. As that run outside for Lacey is good for about 12 yards. He was upended around the 4.
Yeah, and that's just been another story of the game for Coastal Carolina. The Coastal Carolina defense just allowing them to gash them.
Pass from Hauser to the back of the end zone. That'll be complete for another ECU touchdown. Flexing on him is Yannick Smith. And this Coastal Carolina secondary, chopped, sliced, diced, however you want to put it, has had 0 answers to the call to stop this ECU offense. 116 yards passing, 116 yards rushing, 293 yards in the air for ECU. 10 more first downs than the Chanticleers as this extra point is up and good. ECU will lead here in the top of the fourth quarter. 13 minutes to go, 24-0 Pirates, as a mass exodus is taking place here at Brooks Stadium. Fans are making their way to the doors to beat the traffic.
And, you kind of don't blame them. Like you mentioned, you don't want to call the game over until the clock's at 0-0. You've seen crazier things. It's college football. I get that. However, there's been no fight, barely any fight all day out of this Coastal offense, and even less out of this Coastal defense. Coastal's offense just not able to get into a rhythm. Key plays, key drives being wiped out by penalty. Miscues continuously shooting themselves in the foot. Like I mentioned, not able to get any rhythm going on offense, and a big reason why they have a big old goose egg on that scoreboard right now.
And the closest they've gotten so far to scoring tonight was early in the first quarter, like we had mentioned, a missed field goal in the red zone. And other than that, they've had no plays go to the goal line. They had no plays go into the end zone at all. I don't even think the ball itself has crossed the plane on a pass, let alone into the hands of a receiver. Coastal Carolina, and it drives either ending in a punt, or they've had about 6 or 7 of their big drives being called back due to penalty and due to just mental mistakes.
That's a little disheartening, considering the changes that were made over the offseason, bringing in a new offensive coordinator and hoping to kind of revamp that offense. The traditionally triple option school, you're starting to lean into the air raid offense. You thought you would see a little bit more out of Tad Hudson tonight, a little more out of our high-flying receivers like Jamison Tucker and Bryson Graves. However, it seems as though this EC defense has just come to play and has just kept our receivers locked up.
Absolutely. Well, you look ahead for Coastal Carolina, they will be on the road next weekend to face South Alabama.
Yep, as you mentioned, this is Coastal's last home game for a while. You have South Alabama next week. Then you have...
They will be starting their conference schedule against South Alabama on September 20th in South Alabama.
You got South Alabama, they're on the road to face South Alama, Old Dominion, and then they have that bye week. We're coming back home to face ULM.
ECU after tonight will get a little bit of a snooze heading on to the bye week before they go out and face Army in a conference game.
ECU got to stay on top of their A game. They got another tough opponent coming up, BYU, after this game.
Coastal Carolina wants to put some points on the board here as the ECU kicking team will send it back to the Chanticleers, who will let it bounce onto the black turf. It'll bounce up into the Sun Cruiser party deck, new addition to the Tuebrook Stadium, and it'll be for a touchback.
What are you hoping to see out of this Coastal offense coming back out onto the field?
Let's see what they have cooked up here on this drive, sticking with Tad Hudson, who despite the score has not performed all that bad tonight. Couple of iffy plays he's made. He's 14 for 30 tonight. He'll receive the snap, hand off. That'll go for losing yardage, actually. They'll be knocked back to around the 24-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 10 still for the Coastal Carolina Chanticleer. 2nd and 11 now.
And you're at that point where you just want to draw something up that just try stuff. Like see what does work, build off of that going into next week against South Alabama.
You don't want to just roll over and give up. As Tad Hudson drops back in the pocket, pass through the middle of the field is incomplete. Dirted in front of, that was number 15 for the Chanticleers. Eli Aragon.
It's not necessarily giving up. It's just that a lot hasn't worked today. It seems like some of the timing is off, but you just want to try and draw stuff up to see what does work, go off what hasn't worked, and just build off of that going into the rest of the season.
As it stands right now, Coastal is on track to be blanked for the second time this season, or rather the first time this season, only scoring 7 points against Virginia in the beginning of the season. That pass is complete to the 35-yard line. Pass is caught by number 8, Jamison Tucker. Coastal getting a little bit of movement now. It'll be a fresh set of downs for the Chanticleers. Ball down on the 36-yard line. 12 minutes to go here in the closing quarter.
You want to at least go home with something, you know. Don't let a team come into your house and blank you.
Absolutely. You want to get at least some points on the board here. Hudson receives a snap, drops back to pass, dumps it off behind the line, still going up to around the 50. Some nice wheels on that man. That was again Eli Aragon.
The game goes to midfield.
Seeing that number 15 out there gives you some good flashbacks.
Sam Pickney. It'll be a first down for the Chanticleers. Tad Hudson receiving the snap, hands it off to Simpkins for, it'll go backwards to around the 48. It'll be 2nd and 11 here.
All throughout the game, there's just been a total domination by ECU, doubling the amount of offensive yards of the Chanticleers, 409 compared to 218. Just about doubling those yards.
Hudson standing back there to receive the snap. Let's see what they've drawn up here. Low snap. He still holds on to it. Hudson stepping up in the pocket. Now drops back. Goes in the middle of the field. Cannot be corralled by Jamison Tucker.
Little sidearm action there by Tad Hudson. Trying to evade the defender on that.
Looked like he was going to step up and tuck and run, but dropped back at the last second to fire one off to Tucker. Incomplete. So it'll be 3rd and 10 now for the Chanticleers on their own 49-yard line.
ECU crowd getting into it.
Robbie Washington in motion. Hudson receives the snap. Drops back to pass. ECU sending the house. It is picked off. Picked off by number 17 on the ECU defense. That is Rashid Reason. And just a brutal miscue by Tad Hudson. Coastal Carolina unable to string a drive together to at least put some points on the board. The score remains 24-0, all Pirates.
And the wheels just been spinning since the opening drive for Coastal Carolina. After that missed field goal, it has not been great for this Coastal offense. And once again, proving it right there. Just not in rhythm, not in sync at all. Tad on the second interception of the day.
Absolutely just not a great outing for the Chanticleer offense. Putting no points on the board. They've only scored 20 points so far this season. They have to figure it out by next week.
New quarterback in the game for the Pirates, Mike Wright Jr.
It looks like Hauser's night is done. They're going to see what they got in the new guy.
Just an absolutely dominating performance tonight by Hauser.
Mike Wright Jr. stepping in for Hauser, who had a pretty good night. 28 for 37, 293 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception.
76% completion percentage.
He's going to keep it himself, running up to the 45-40. 35, pushed out around the 35. That'll be good for a first down and more. He will move up on the ECU rushing list. Still Mike Wright Jr. It seems like they're just going to stick with him for the rest of the game. In the backfield is Wright Jr. and Parker Jenkins. ECU trying to bleed the clock here, taking their time, saving that tempo. And high snap for Wright. He hands it off to Jenkins. Jenkins bumps out to the outside. Spin at 35, up to the 30. 25, and out at about the 21-yard line, 22-yard line.
And this is a huge indicator that this Coastal defense is just exhausted, deflated, just absolutely defeated. 2 big plays back to back.
ECU getting close to matching the run total yards for the entire season here against the Chanticleers.
Simply just not a good look for Coastal Carolina.
Wright Jr. in the backfield, receive the snap. Moves Jenkins over to his right, and that's going to be a false start on the ECU Pirates. A little bit too much movement for ECU to handle. A little bit of a twitch there will send the Pirates back about 5 yards.
With everything going wrong for this Coastal team, there is...
I stand corrected. It was not a false start. After the referees converse with each other, it is a delay of game on the defense.
I wonder what happened down there to warrant a delay of game call on the defense.
Simulating the snap, I believe. Simulating the cadence. So we'll do it again now. 1st and 5 for the Pirates, and it's going to be right to the outside, right to the 15, right to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, ECU. Wright Jr. running behind his back, Jenkins. No words. The air has been taken out of the Chanticleers, and it is all empty here. Absolutely almost barren of teal besides the seats. Coastal Carolina was trying to hang in there. However, that appears not to be the case.
And credits Coastal for hanging around as long as they did, but just absolute domination by ECU. There's just no words to describe what we're witnessing here tonight, besides just a complete and utter meltdown from one side, just complete utter dominance from the other.
as Let's Go Pirates chants ring out throughout the stadium. We'll step aside here in this with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter here in Conway, South Carolina. ECU leads the Chanticleers 31-0. Welcome back to Conway, South Carolina. Brooks Stadium, home of the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, as they are looking to find an answer for these 31 points that ECU has put on top of them. It looks like we're going to get a return this time. No touchback. Coastal Carolina running it. Oh, it breaks a tackle up around the 25, give him 26 yards on the return. Extra yard than if you would have let it go in the end zone.
Almost steamrolled a guy there. Well,
seemingly had one man to beat on that one.
This game's been a rough one. We are now in what is commonly referred to as garbage time. 8 minutes, 26 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Score stands 31-0 in favor of the Pirates.
At least I got some free hot dogs out of it.
I did too. I have my fourth hot dog back here. I've already had 3 of them.
As you should. Tad Hudson throwing it to his outside receiver, upended at the 25-yard line.
Free concessions coming in clutch. I can't wait to actually watch the game with the free concessions, but
nice little view they got us up here.
Oh, yeah.
A little hard to see the numbers, but it's still a very, very gorgeous view.
Oh, yeah.
Despite the outcome, Brooks Stadium remains one of the most beautiful stadiums in the entire country.
Not biased opinion at all.
Despite what happens on the field, I will hold that sentiment. Tad Hudson receiving the snap, dropping back to pass, looking middle of the field. That's complete to his receiver. He will go down at about the 30-yard line. Give that to number 20 on the reception. There's running back Javon Edwards. And he'll stay in the game and accompany Tad Hudson in the backfield. Well, if you're ECU, you're happy about this outcome. You're going into the bye week hot and ready to take on whatever comes your way. You have a lot of confidence in your team's ability as that pass is going to the outside to number 17, Cameron Wright. If you're Coastal Carolina right now, you're searching for answers. You're searching for, is Tad Hudson really the answer? Are we able to at least score once per week?
Can you go out there and compete with the best of them?
Can you go out there and still put up good numbers against the Sun Belt? Because in the grand scheme of things, out-of-conference record really doesn't matter. It's the conference games that count.
Also, I would like to amend your previous statement. Next week, ECU will not be having a bye week. They will be at home facing BYU.
My mistake. The BYU, it looks like a bye. That is my mistake. So I will reiterate then, if you're ECU, you are confident going to face BYU, who is one of the middle-tier G5 teams consistently in the country.
They're a very strong team last year. There's a little bit of an overturn, so we're going to see how they're doing coming into this game. But if that ball is fumbled, yep.
The ball is jarred out, fumbled, recovered by ECU. Tad Hudson in some pain getting up off the ground. Holding that arm up a little bit.
As I was saying, if these last 3 games are indicative, the close game against North NC State, the absolute dominance of Campbell, and now the absolute dominance of Coastal Carolina, I think that the Pirates are going to have no problem taking on BYU in their own home.
BYU no longer has Jake Ratzlav, who transferred to, I believe it was Tulane University in the offseason.
A little bit of turnover for BYU, but ECU back on offense.
And just pounding the Coastal up the middle here. Yards after yards. Coastal has had no answer for ECU.
It's starting to become slowly that the clock ticking down is becoming more and more closer to mercy for this Coastal Carolina team.
Wright Jr. still in for Hauser. He fakes the handoff, goes to the outside, makes a defender miss, and gains a little extra yardage up to the 15-yard line.
Just the shiftiness out of the quarterback there.
It looks
Something
like
to behold.
It looks like ECU will keep it on the ground no matter what, just to bleed the clock and send them home.
ECU all but has this game wrapped up around their finger. It's looking like 2-1 for ECU, 1-2 for Coastal Carolina.
And that run up the middle is by number 20 for ECU, TJ Engelman Jr., who gets them to up about the 5-yard line, and it will be the 5-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal to go. 5 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter as the clock is bleeding out and time is running out for Coastal Carolina to put something on the board.
Blake Harrell in his first season with ECU making some statements these last 3 games.
Wright Jr. receives a snap. And the handoff is again to Engelman Jr. He'll be down at the 1-yard line, maybe the half-yard line. 2nd and maybe half an inch. Just no words for what has come out of for the Coastal Carolina defense. Just no words. The defense stood as strong as it could. The offense just couldn't do anything with their possessions. And when you're constantly running your defense onto the field as Wright Jr. takes the snap, he will hand it off again. And this one will be for 6 once more. Coastal Carolina allowing another rushing touchdown. ECU goes up 37-0. Extra point pending.
And things just go from bad to worse to even worse.
To terrible. Yeah, Sam. Extra point attempt is up and good. It'll be 38-0 for the Pirates against Coastal Carolina. as we will take a short break here. ECU up 38-0 with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Welcome back to Conway, South Carolina. ECU getting ready to send possession back to the Chanticleers, a team that is praying and trying so hard to put points on the board. The kick is up, it's short. It'll be into the hands of a Coastal special teamer and blown dead. Fair catch called. Coastal Carolina will retain possession. Well, what do you do if you're Coastal Carolina and you can't put points on the board?
You go out there and you just keep playing ball.
You do your best.
You keep trying to play ball. Keep trying to get over that hump. Hopefully at least get a little bit out of here, make it a little bit more respectable. But I don't know how much more respect you can make it in a 38-0 blowout.
Hudson still in a quarterback. Coastal's trying to see what they have. Hands it off. Met in the backfield, driven all the way back to around his 24-yard line.
I'll tell you what, Pebbles is going to be mad.
I agree. I'm mad that Coastal Carolina is a far cry from where they were a couple years ago, just a couple seasons ago.
It seems like a lifetime ago, but it was really not.
As there's a handoff from Tad Hudson, it looks like Coastal is content with draining the clock here in the waning moments of the fourth quarter. A lot of questions to be answered in the post game.
A lot of questions, whether we're going to get some answers, who knows?
Who knows? 3 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter as we get ready to close the book here on this ECU Coastal Carolina game. That is fumbled. That will be, it looks to be, ECU may have fallen on top of it.
Let's see what the judge rules.
And it'll be ECU football, and that'll add insult to just insult after insult after insult.
And you think it couldn't get bad? You think it could get worse? It's gotten a lot worse.
I agree.
Somehow we've hit rock bottom and we keep going deeper.
Somehow that's just how the world works.
I've got nothing to say.
It's gone to that point where I just have nothing to say about that has not been said. ECU 201 rush yards, 293 pass yards. They've almost eclipsed 500 total yards on the year. And it's just been a rough outing for the Chanticleers, and
I think rough is underselling it. This has just been an absolutely abysmal outing for the Chanticleers.
Against the team that last time snatched your chain in the Birmingham Bowl and blew you out when your head coach was leaving out the door. We will head to the 2-minute timeout here in the final quarter of ECU Coastal Carolina. ECU has the ball on the Chanticleer 15, 2nd and 5, 38-0 Pirates. We'll be right back here on WCCU SN, Coastal Carolina University Student Run Sports Network. Welcome back for the final time here in Brooks Stadium. Hopefully the final time, as ECU will most likely just bleed the clock out. A new guy in the backfield for ECU. That'll be number 2, quarterback Raheem Jeter. And it'll be handed off as the clock will trickle to 1:50 left in the game. 3rd down for the Chanticleers. whatever Chanticleer fans are left are getting hyped to at least get a stop here.
At least the band is still in good spirits.
It is 3rd and a little bit.
We love the Chanticleer Regiment. According to the, I think it was 3rd and 45.
It's 3rd and 5 now. And ECU will line up in V formation, the victory formation, little tippy taps. They will more than likely bring on Nick Mazzy to attempt another field goal on his perfect night tonight to push the score to 41-0. Like we had mentioned earlier, lots and lots of questions to be answered after this game. What is the identity of this Coastal Carolina Chanticleers team?
Where do they go from here? You get blanked in your own home after barely beating an FCS school.
And they're just going to line up in the victory formation again on 4th down and turn the ball over. So they will not have the field goal unit trot on. They're going to have Coastal Carolina's offense trot onto the field to attempt to run the clock down the rest of the way. And that'll be that here in Conway, South Carolina. Still awaiting the Coastal Carolina offense to come back onto the field and finish this game off.
You think Coastal's just gonna, kneel down and be like, yeah, it's over? Or
I believe so.
At least take a shot or two?
I don't think that there's any points for pride, any points to feel a little bit better about this, because there is nothing to feel good about losing in your own house, 38-0, 38-7, 38-3. There is no, there's just nothing, as that's a handoff to Simpkins. He'll get all the way up to the 30, and more than likely will be the last play of the game, as clock does have to stop for the ball to be spotted. And first downs in college ball, the clock does stop. So it'll be elongated even more now, this ending of Coastal Carolina ECU, with Coastal on their own 30-yard line, 10 seconds remaining. Another handoff down. That will not be a first down. That'll take us to the end of the game here in Conway, South Carolina, where ECU dominates the Chanticleers 38-0.
You stand here and you just wonder where it all went wrong.
There's no words to describe what just happened besides deflated.
And these empty stands are a great indicator as to how the fans feel about this one.
Coastal Carolina will travel to South Bama next week to face the Jaguars, and ECU, after a dominant last 2 weeks, will actually stay home, head back to the Rowdy Dowdy to host the BYU Cougars. That'll be all for us here on WCCU-SN, Coastal Carolina University Student-Run Sports Network. I'm Caleb.
I'm Cade.
And I would like to thank you for joining us for this presentation of Chanticleer football. Have a great night, everybody, and shots up.